for ICT at the Department of Economic Development, Environmental Affairs, and Tourism. He's also a member of the National Cybersecurity Workstream. Mr. Dlomo will share with us the national policy outlook on cybersecurity in the country. I also encourage colleagues to use the chat box to also maybe raise their own questions and comments so that they can be captured as we are proceeding. But we will open up at the end of the presentations for verbal, inputs and comments. So those few words, I'd like to welcome each and everyone and invite Dr. Madyibi to please take the floor. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair. Let me just put the camera just so you can see my face. I hope everyone can see me. I'll just switch off the camera now just to introduce me. Let me quickly share my screen. Thank you again, Chair, and morning to colleagues again. Let me start about the background of the Awareness Month, which is October. Globally, it was launched in 2004, but here in South Africa, we launched it in 2015. It's currently in South Africa being co-managed by Cybersecurity Hub and DCDT in Pretoria. So this is based on the National Cybersecurity Policy Framework, which was passed by Cabinet in 2012. So what the hub does, it ensures that everyone has the resources they need to be safe and secure online. That's the brief history of this month of October, cybersecurity awareness. So what is the global theme? The global theme is secure our world. For this year, each and every year, there is a theme, but for this year, it's saying secure our world as a global theme. So what are the objectives of our session for today? It is to empower all individuals and organizations with the knowledge and tools they need to better protect themselves and their communities from the evolving cybersecurity threats they face in today's digital world. As we know that our world is becoming digital, so we need to protect ourselves and our organization. So this will empower us with all those tools and knowledge. So let's start from the beginning. What is cybersecurity? So we're saying it is the protection of digital systems, networks, and data against theft, damage, unauthorized access, and cyber threats through various technologies and practices to ensure information confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So you'll understand that through technology, there are issues like your firewalls, your patch, your antivirus, and practices. It's talking to policies and procedures and governance structures that coordinate all these areas of cybersecurity. So those are the technology and practices they are talking about here. Why it is important? Cybersecurity is essential in today's digital age due to the increasing frequency and complexity of cyber attacks. Protecting sensitive data and critical infrastructure is not only crucial for individuals and organizations, but also a national security and the global economy. As you know that each and every corner now, cyber attacks are at a rise. Some other websites are even inviting people to come and join them as a career to be a cyber attacker. So it is a very complex issue that it needs everyone to be attentive on and to be secured. Hence, we've got all these cybersecurity awareness sessions in every October for every country. So internationally, we are saying digital technology underpins almost every aspect of social and economic activity. As we know that we've got now the fourth industrial revolution, we've got digital economy. So it's enforcing us to focus on digital technology, which is key on all these areas. So basically, it is estimated by 2027, more than 55% of GDP of industrialized countries will be directly related to the digital economy. So each and every economy for each country is moving towards digital economy. As you will recall, even our PCM is talking about smart city as a city of East London. So all these issues are revolving around digital economy. So, and it's also estimated that more than 6.2 billion users have got access to internet and are using internet, whether it's your cell phone, it's your smartphone, it's your whatever gadget you have. But that's the issue currently. So based on this increase of digital technology, cybercrime is also increasing. Hence today is recognized as #1 risk associated with increasing technological exposure. So what does that mean? It means that cybersecurity is now the biggest threat to the country's critical information infrastructure and social economic development. You'll see through all the slides where there are areas where there was an attack in our country and other various countries in Africa regarding cyber attacks. So cybersecurity is now regarded as a global threat, as evidenced by the UN resolutions of 2000 to 2014, which called on all member states and governments to form a global culture of cybersecurity, which is our challenge at this moment. So the way the cybercrime is so vast in South Africa, I will just have snapshots to show you what is really happening through the reports that are coming through the papers. For instance, as an example, here's one of them. Ransomware attacks in South Africa, what you need to know. This was an article in 2021 where about 6.4 million was taken through ransomware. South Africa under cyber attack, ransomware doubles in a year. You'll see how this ransomware is attacking our environment, attacking our organizations, our individual servers, and how to utilize skills and other various issues to prevent all these issues. Here's another one. Cyber criminals love South Africa. That's the study that was conducted in 2022, which shows how cyber criminals enjoy getting into our organizations, both government and private sector. There's no selection. 8 out of 10, which is very scary. 8 out of 10 enterprises have been targeted in cyber attacks, which means 80% of our organization enterprises are being attacked. That's only 2022. Latest one, South Africa on the verge of becoming a cybercrime capital of Africa. This comes from Interpol, a report of last year, which is very, very, very scary. So these are all the headlines around cybercrime in South Africa, which we need to prevent as individual, as organization, so that we are in a safe world, as we have our theme for this year. So what are the top 5 cyber threats under that were recognized by Interpol? That is the international police, and South Africa is a member within the international police. Here are the 5. The first one is online scams. Second one, digital extortion. Third one, business email compromise, including private email compromise, not only business. Ransomware, botnets. These are the top 5. What we will do in this presentation, we'll go to each one of them and see how they attack your organization or you individually, and how can you protect your organization or yourselves around these 5. Firstly, on the online scams, what you are saying here is that they typically seek to exploit victims' fears, insecurities, or vulnerabilities while using numerous tactics, techniques, and procedures online. Everything that talks here is about online. These are online scams. They steal your identity. They steal your password. They steal your bank details. They steal your username in the office or in your private laptop, your account. And when they hack you and they spy on what you are doing in your own home, sitting with your own laptop, not knowing that someone is basically spying on you. As an example of these online scams, you might receive a WhatsApp message or an email or a text saying, congratulations, you've won 1,000 as an Amazon gift card. And recently, maybe you just bought something from Amazon, a book or what. And it says, step 1, click to continue the button to claim your prize, to claim your 1,000. Enter correct information on the next page to claim your prize. When you enter that information and continue, definitely you are putting all your details. They're going to ask your bank details so that they can transfer the 1,000 to your account. So check number 2 is saying you have only 4 minutes, 14 seconds to claim your prize. So they need you to rush because you've got a fear that you might not get this 1,000. And once you step continue, they've taken you. Then you must put your ID, your username, your bank details, because they must transfer this to your bank account. Now your bank is gone. Your ID is gone. They can utilize your details to procure something. They might even say, put your credit card if maybe you want the money to be transferred to a credit card that you used to procure from Amazon in the previous 2 days or 3 days, and you won't suspect anything. These are the issues we're talking about. So how to avoid this? The very first thing, stick to the, if it's too good to be true, it's probably not right. That's the one we're talking about now, the Amazon one, just giving you 1,000 at a go. Visit reputable sites and avoid clicking on ads and other weird-looking links. Very, very important. When you access websites, don't just see ads that entice you. Please avoid those ads. Some organizations have got spyware and other various tools that clean up all the adverts within the websites. But if you've got your own laptop at home and you don't have that, you need to avoid clicking to those ads. They are very, very dangerous. Number 3, verify the contact information. I will show you in the next few slides when you receive an email and the email looks legit, whereas it's not. So verify contact information, check first. That's most important. That's if it's not good to be true, check what is going on. You must always check first before responding. Number 5, guard your personal information with your life. Your name, your credit card, your personal information. You know that there's also a POPI which tries to protect your personal information as an act. So guard your personal information with your life. Use antivirus software, whether we're at home, whether we are in the office, whether we are in your phone. Please always use antivirus software, which can detect all these viruses. Use VPN and avoid public Wi-Fi. We always like when we are in the airport, when we are in the restaurant, to utilize these free Wi-Fis. They are also very dangerous. You can do them to browse your ordinary network, your movies and everything, but don't do your banking, your online work using these public Wi-Fis because they are dangerous. They grab your information, they take everything, your login details, and once it's gone, it's gone. It's not easy to check who took it and what, and you are responsible for your issues if you are logging to these public Wi-Fis. So if you are using the public Wi-Fi, you must make it a point that you've got your VPN installed in your phone or laptop. If you don't understand what is a VPN is, you talk to your people who are supporting you when it comes to ICT. If it's in your office, IT people, they're going to give you the VPN if it needs a VPN. But avoid using public Wi-Fi just to get into your banking details and your other various sensitive issues. You can use it to do your scanning, watching football or whatever, but not when you're going to put your details that are very sensitive. One of the last one, which is the very best, when in doubt, don't click. If you're at a doubt of seeing a link that is there, whether it's in an email or in your phone, you say link. If you are in doubt, please don't click. Just phone someone who's responsible and say, can I click this? Can I use this? Otherwise, you'll find yourself wanting. So this is the way to avoid online scams. The next one is digital extortion, where an actor coerces individuals with either a false claim or a proof of a stolen personal data or files, for which the victim is then asked to pay in exchange for recovering the data or not leaking it online. This is very happening now. There was a case recently in Mpumalanga where they changed this data extortion to what is called sextortion threat, where actors utilize phishing and blackmailing across multiple platforms to get money from their victims, which claims that they have obtained compromising sexual images or the sexual browsing history of their victim. They will say via email, I've got pictures of you being a nude or doing this and this. And if you don't put 10,000 in the next hour, I will take these pictures to Facebook, to Twitter and everything. And because of your panicking and everything, you'll try to contact that person. Whereas they just hacked your emails. And then how to prevent that digital extortion? Firstly, you must use strong, varied passwords. Turn on multiple factor authentication or MFA, which is currently being used almost banks, including organizations. I know in the office, sometimes some people are being annoyed when they try to log into their accounts and it sends something to the cell phone where it needs authentication. Once you respond from the phone, it goes back and gives you access. But that's the way of securing your information and protecting you. That's what is called multi-factor authentication. So you need to activate that. Don't run away from that. If your smartphone has got that for the banking and for your office access, please activate that. You'll thank us later if you activate that. More than anything, update your systems, whether it's your digital phone, it's your digital server in the office, and again, think before you click. Don't just click. Think before you click anything. And then on the sextortion, that is very prevalent now within all our social media issues. What do I do? Cease all contact. If you receive an email, threatening you about your pictures or whatever, cease all contact with that email or delete it and block it if possible. Do not pay or provide any further images. Keep the evidence that you received this from this individual. And more than anything, you must recognize that you are a victim of a crime. Report it to the police so that you've got a case number. So be vigilant, be skeptical, and be safe. That's what is called sextortion. Let's move over to the business email compromise. Cyber criminals typically compromise or spoof a legitimate email account to send fraudulent emails requesting the transfer of funds or sensitive data while posing as a legitimate owner of the email account. Very straightforward. What happens is that cybercriminal will compromise employee email. They will take my email as Ayanda Madyibi and put there as legit, that is Ayanda. The compromise account is used to send notifications to customers. If, for instance, I've got customers from ECSECC, they will send that notification as if it's Ayanda Madyibi. Then the service provider will pay as if we're claiming as Ayanda, maybe from supply chain at ECSECC. They will pay and transfer to my account that I've given to them. Then the cyber criminal receives the money and he's gone. And we'll never see him again or her again. There's one that's coming now, which is very frequently being used in most organizations, which is called the CEO fraud, where the fraudster identifies themselves as a high-level executive, the CEO, the CFO, etc., HR manager or whatever, and prepared to be handling confidential or time-sensitive matters and initiate a wire transfer to an account they control. My CEO will come and say, Dr. Madyibi, I'm in a conference in Penguin. Please talk to finance to transfer me. I've got a problem here. I can't contact via his or her email. Please tell them to send me 10,000 or 5,000. I've got a crisis here. Via email. That email is not legit. They took maybe the CEO's email. How they do it, the cyber criminal poses as the company exec and emails the finance person. Finance sends funds to criminal account. They are gone with the money. That's how they operate. So be very, very careful of this business email. We'll show you examples now that happened within our organization. But as a disclaimer, no data breach happened during these simulations. That's the first part you must understand. One of our colleagues received an email as if it's coming from, saying from, it's going to HR from one of our colleagues saying, HR manager, trust you are well. I would like to change my bank details, where my salary goes, and also can you please forward me a copy of my class pay slip? Kindly assist in this regard. Best regards. Then the person from the organization. The question is now the name that is it from, where it's going to, the manager for HR, and then it seems legit. Everything is legit. But if you go straight and double check on the actual email where it's coming from, it's saying mark03long@gmail.com, which means they grab the first and the second name of our employee and created a Gmail account as if he's part of that. And if the manager didn't check here and double check the email address, and we know that within our organization, you can't just write an email like this requesting bank details and everything, your pay slip like this via email. There are procedures to request all this. So immediately the HR manager contacted the employee via cell phone. The employee said, nope, I didn't do that. Then they reported this to IT. That happened only last year. From my side, I received an email saying, this is Dr. Lynn Smith to Ayanda Madyibi at ECSECC, transfer of funds. Dear Dr. Madyibi, we urgently need your current bank details for the transfer of SARS refund. Thanks for your help, Dr. Lynn Smith, SARS. And if you go straight on top where it's coming from, he's saying Lynn Smith, and there is a Lynn Smith within SARS, but the domain that they are using, you see, za.sars.com. And if you are not aware of the domains, you'll quickly say, okay, let me put my bank details to Dr. Lynn Smith because I know he's from SARS. Whereas the domain is talking something else because SARS is sars.co.za, not za.sars.com. You see how they manipulate all these issues. So these are very dangerous issues when it comes to business email compromise. So business email compromise, I think it's about more than 80% being used for phishing to organizations and individuals. So how to protect yourself from this? The first part is that the fraudster plays on weak passwords and gain access to a business email account, even a private email account. So what you need to do, check on the right, follow best practices for passwords by using ones that are unique, long, and not easy to guess. Each and every entity has got a password policy, which guides each and every employee what the password must be, and it must be changed every 30 days. So please stick to those best practices. If you're at home, someone is assisting you with your laptop, please, he or she must guide you around the password best practices, or contact someone who has knowledge of all these best practices around passwords. But I know each and every organization, that's the first thing that the AG checks, the audit Director General, is that do you have these policies? Do you have these best practices? Password protection is one of them. Fraudster monitors email traffic looking for financial transaction. That's area number 2. What you must do, we talked about multi-factor authentication. This makes it more difficult to hack into an account because the moment he tries to take your SIM swap, do your card, there are very issues when it comes to multi-factor authentication because it's gonna need to confirm first from the laptop to your phone to a third issue, if you've got a third one, or a tablet, so that all your 3 devices can recognize that this is you. Thirdly, when the opportunity arises, the fraudster sends an email from an account asking for funds to be sent somewhere differently. We've discussed about that. How to protect that? Be vigilant to spot irregularities in language and instructions in emails. That's why we said check each and every area and a corner. Check if it talks about money, go back. Where is it from? Who's that email address? Do you know that domain? If you are not sure, don't press anything. Contact people who will advise you, as your maybe systems administrator, engineers in your organization, or phone, if you're at home, phone someone who can assist, who understand all these issues. But don't press anything if you're in doubt. Let's go to the other one. There are automated tools that allow fraudsters to lag until an opportunity arises. They will listen and listen and listen until you fall asleep. What to do on that? Verify payment instructions directly with the legitimate person by using a known phone number. Same example we did there with Sis Nomonde, where there's an HR issue HR manager phoned Sis Nomonde. Sis Nomonde, are you aware of this? Have you requested this? The other person said no. Then immediately they reported that to IT. Remember, we've got all the tools to block all these issues, but you can't block everything. So some of the emails, they're going to come in because you can blacklist some websites. They will change immediately within a day or two, within an hour. They've changed. You're going to say Ayanda Madyibi coming from different domain, not from ECSECC. So you must be vigilant because you can't block everything through the firewall and through the spamware. There are others that will go through. So we're saying now, if it managed to go through the firewalls, through the security, through everything that is there, please check these 1, 2, 3, 4 areas. Otherwise, you'll find yourself wanting. Next one is the ransomware. Very, very dangerous. It's a form of malware which encrypts victim data or locks down systems, disrupting the operations of victims' organization by rendering their data and systems inaccessible. This can close the entire organization. You see here at ECSECC, you might say, here's one machine has been attacked by ransomware. Once it move over to all the machines and to the server, it locks everything until you pay. And what they want to pay through Bitcoins so that you can identify who is it. You'll find that person is in Ukraine that did this. And they will contact you. Once they lock you, they will contact you because it's reporting to them that I've locked that organization. Then they'll start communicating with you to pay a ransom. So these actors subsequently demand a ransom, usually in cryptocurrency, as I said, for anonymity, in exchange to decrypt the data. How they do it? They send an email attachment where you click unaware. Hence, I'm saying, if you're not sure, don't click the attachment that we are given or a link. Don't click any link that you're not aware of or attachment. If you don't understand the link or the attachment, contact your IT people to assist you. They will take a drive and put it without your knowledge. They might come here and say, I'm a visitor, blah, 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 and talk to you, or even a technician coming from outside service provider, maybe a disgruntled technician, might come to fix your laptop in your office. They put a USB, whereas he's putting the malware that will go into your machine. Malicious websites, as I said earlier, your website that you are getting into, check your websites. Don't click any ads coming from these websites because they are also dangerous. Once they get into one of these three, the user's PC, one PC will be infected by the malware. 2, all data in that PC and the entire network of the organization will be locked because what's happening, that malware installed there is going to spread to the entire network. Remember, your machine, individual PC, is connected to the network, to the server, to the exchange email, all to the internet. So whoever is got access to your machine as a network is going to be locked. Ransom demand to unlock your data. And you can't unlock that except by wiping your whole hard drive because it's locked. Because the key to unlock it is with that person. Very, very, very dangerous. You'll see the examples here. Major attacks in South Africa using ransomware. You know about St. Dominic's, which is under Life Health attack. They were attacked, both offices in Botswana and in South Africa. June 2020. They couldn't work for more than 2 months because all their network and servers were locked, were encrypted by ransomware. You go to 2020 October, twin attack against South Africa social infrastructure, where they used ransomware and DDoS to shut down social services, emergency units, and banking infrastructure. You'll remember all the people that were getting SASA who couldn't get SASA for 2 months because of that ransomware. Luckily, they had all the backups. They had to destroy the whole information and restore information from their backups, which took more than 2 months to recover. That was 2021. In 2020. In 2021, in Swaziland, same thing happened. The whole IT infrastructure for government, similar with CETA, was attacked, utilizing ransomware. They had to close for 3 months. And the latest one, the last one, was Transnet here in South Africa. Transnet couldn't pay salaries through the banks for more than 5 months. They were attacked through ransomware. They nearly closed shop. That is the one-time infrastructure. They nearly closed shop because of the attack that happened, and they were behind with 5 months of doing manual work and other various issues because they couldn't access their systems. They couldn't get anything, including payments, salaries for their employees, including service providers that need to be paid. So ransomware is very, very, very dangerous. How to prevent it? Firstly, user education and awareness. In organizations, please have awareness sessions around cybersecurity. Frequent and automated backups, very critical. Test your backups at least once a quarter, but every day you must have your backups for all your systems in organization, so that if you are attacked today, by tomorrow you can destroy that server that has been attacked by ransomware and create a new one immediately. Reduce the attack surface. You must always have all this segmentation in your network. If you've got servers sitting in their own area, protect them in that area. You've got users sitting in their own area, protect them in that area. You've got internet users or internet access, have those that environment on its own. So you can change in an organization or divide your area of work where you've got the servers, which we call DMZ, demilitarized zone, where you can put it there. You've got user environment where all the laptops and users connect, and you've got the internet phase, a third party, which is environment. So all those three are different. So if someone attacks the user environment, it's going to affect only all the users rather than affecting the entire organization. Number 4, prepare an IT response plan. One of the key ones is the cybersecurity insurance. You must have it. It's worth it. Most organizations are going that route, that in case you've got 1, you've got 2, you've got 3 in place, you're doing everything. But because of these sophistications that are coming from these cyber attacks, you must prepare an IT response plan. The first one is the business continuity, DR, business continuity, and the sharper insurance. Those are the response plans that you must have. Digital recovery for your systems, business continuity for the organization, which includes each and every one of the organization, your operations, your HR, your office manager, so that in case something happens in this building or in your building, which is a head office, you can simply swap to the other one. But mostly the third important one, cybersecurity insurance. That you must have. Number 5, put out regular network patches. Each and every laptop that you are running as an organization has got updates of your Office, updates of your Windows, updates of whatever software you are running. Please, if it says to you, you are due for update, please run that update and network patches that are being done at a network level. Number 6, you must have anti-ransomware solutions. 1, the VPN protects your Wi-Fi, protects your you must have your antivirus that protects your laptop. You must have your firewall. So all these anti-ransom solutions are part of that. Your firewall, your antivirus, your VPNs, they protect everything running in your organization, including your Wi-Fi and your wireless. The very, very last one, which is botnets. Botnet is a network of hijacked computers and devices infected with bot malware and remotely controlled by the hacker. What we're saying here is that here's the cyber criminal sitting at the center. He put a malware in your PC. Once he infect one PC in the organization, or through a social media, or through a spam emails, or through whatever, you click that link, it's getting to a machine. Then you are infected as one machine. That one machine is going to infect the entire organization, because now it's working as a command center for all other machines. Then now it spreads the entire malware to the entire network. So all your machines now will be infected, and it keep on multiplying. Every machine coming to the network, multiplying. So you are running your machine without knowing that someone is spying on you. How you send how you do your transactions to your banks, how you pay your service providers. They see everything that you are doing in your machine because of this botnet that has been installed without your knowledge, without you being seeing it. Very dangerous also. So the bot network can be used to send spam, launch using distributed denial of service attacks, and it may be rendered out to other cyber criminals. That's one of the dangerous issues. Someone might do this botnet into your network and advertise across the internet to other cyber criminals, saying, I've got the entire ECSECC network under my hand. Whoever want to access it, please pay me so much dollars through Bitcoin or cryptocurrency. The moment they grab that, they're going to ask maybe, what ECSECC is it doing? ECSECC is a government entity reporting to the Office of the Premier. Then everybody will be interested in buying that botnet has been attacked within ECSECC. So they will go into tender on their side as cyber criminals to get this access to this botnet, because it's got a linkage to the Premier of the Eastern Cape. That's how dangerous is the botnet. Without your knowledge, your machine is running smooth, and normally you come in the morning, you press or send your emails, but don't know that someone is running something at the background. But for us within ECSECC, it's easy to check that there's a botnet installed. It immediately reports that via our firewall, via our 40-bit client, where it says, hey, there's suspicion in that laptop, please switch it off from the network. It immediately cuts off that laptop from the network. You're going to see the user coming to IT saying, I've got limited access to my network. That's the firewall cutting off because there's a suspicious botnet issue in that area. Very dangerous. How to prevent botnets? Number 1, as I said earlier, avoid clicking on suspicious links. Number two, don't download programs from unverified sources. We always say in the office that don't install any software in your laptop without the knowledge of ICT. Because the moment we see it, we're going to say we are in violation of our policy within the organization. Every time we want to install something in your laptop, please contact your policy first in your organization and check whether are you allowed to do that. Change default password settings. Every time you are receiving something, whether it's a phone, Vodacom 00040s, MTN 111s, your laptop, same thing. You must always change the default password, including the Wi-Fi. Most people, when they get a Wi-Fi at home, once Vodacom leave or MTN leave the Wi-Fi there at home, they leave it there with that password. We know this password. If you're an IT guru or IT technician, you'll understand that if it's Vodacom, it's 4 zeros. If it's MTN, it's this. If it's LC. So we can get easy to your home network. And once we are in a home network, some other networks now at home are controlling even the cameras for safety issues, even for load shedding. They are controlling the lights. I might get into that home network, switch off the lights as if it's a load shedding, then drop the house. So these are the issues that are happening in our society. So we need to be very, very careful and extra careful. Number four, keep your IoT devices separate Wi-Fi network. We like to have this IoT, as I said, that you can control your lights and other issues through what is called IoT, Internet of Things, where everything is going to the internet. You might have your system of lights connected to your Wi-Fi network at home. Separate them so that you control your electricity issue from your phone. There's Wi-Fi that is being there for other issues. As an example, you might have Wi-Fi that is hackable at home. Someone might send pictures to your kids without your knowledge. They see your kid is always on TikTok or whatever through the network. What they do, they send pictures to that little kid who's not aware what's happening. Those are various issues that are happening within these home wired networks that are not protected. If you can test now the home networks, you can find that almost 60% of these networks are using default passwords within their routers. Number five, regularly update your operating system, whether it's a server, whether it's your laptop, whether it's a user at home, regularly update your operating system. And then number six, install an antivirus scanner. If you are running from home, if you're in the office, you must always have an antivirus scanner. So you can pick up all the viruses that are on your laptop. You can pick up all the botnets are running in your background without your knowledge. So here are the very take-home notes for the botnets. Botnets can be extremely dangerous because don't see anything, they are running in the background. Using the above methods, which means the top 6 we talk about here, you can implement an effective defense against botnet and other malware attacks. In general, investing in real-time anti-botnet detection software remains the best approach to your protection. There are botnet detection software across the spectrum. So you can select what you use. In our office, was using what we say called FortiGate, which can easily pick up a machine that's running botnet software, so that we can say, let's close that machine, let's clean the machine, and then we take it out of the network. Then after cleaning it, we put it back. So empowering member countries for a safer digital world, because we are saying the theme here is a safe world. So what is happening now is that under the mandate of Interpol, which has got a cybercrime authority, they delivers policing capabilities to all member countries, including South Africa as a member, through what you called Global Cybercrime Program. The Global Cybercrime Program is founded on 3 core pillars. They are aligned to the hub I discussed earlier on in my first slide. Cybercrime threat response, where they are saying swift reaction to emerging cyber threats, collaborative response to mitigate the risks. And then secondly, cyber strategy and capabilities development. Formulation of strategic approaches to address evolving cyber threats, enhancement of member countries' cyber capabilities through training and support, cybercrime operations, execution of cybercrime investigations and operations, close cooperation with member countries to identify and apprehend cyber criminals. So basically, we've covered all the 5 areas that were identified in Africa by Interpol that were researched in Africa and are the top 5, including South Africa. South Africa basically is number 3 in those attacks that are listed there. Once we cover all the 5, we covered also the preventive measures that you can use. We also went through to the level of what Interpol Cybercrime Directorate does. But Mr. Dlomo will expand on this and how does it align to our hub in Pretoria, which all of us in South Africa are reporting to. So with those words, I'm saying, remember that each day is a cybersecurity day. I thank you. Chair, over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Madyibi, for the presentation. Let's invite Mr. Madikiza to upload his presentation and take the floor. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Good morning, colleagues. Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Just a minute. Can you see it now?
Yes, we can see. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Chair, and good morning, colleagues. My presentation is a short one. Number of things, but it's just to add a few things. From a government perspective, you know that we are in an era where we are looking at digital transformation because it provides us a way of providing service or reaching out to our clients and being responsive to them. So we are in an era where we are using all these digital technologies, as I've listed them on the left. For those that are not IT people, they understand what all these big data, cloud, AI, IoT, social media, what it means. But perhaps for those who are not IT people, you might not understand, but you are using these technologies. So for example, each one of us here has got a phone. When you're setting up your phone, it asks you for the Google account or whatever Huawei account, And based on that, then you say you create your profile and you start using your device. All that data that is stored in that Google account or Huawei account is stored in the cloud. So you are using the cloud. You might not really understand how it's going, but everything of yours is there in the cloud. Most of our devices are set so that they automatically store whether our pictures or videos in the cloud. There is a copy on your phone, but there is also a copy on your in the cloud under your profile. So you find that perhaps a big chunk of your data is really in the cloud. Issues of AI. So when I get to the office in Bishop from East London, I put my phone on the desk. Somehow it just says you are 60 kilometers away from home. I didn't do anything to it, but you can see that there is some intelligence that is going on to know that I'm now not at home. I'm so far away from home. So many AI applications we are running in our phones, in our laptops. When I tried to send a message last night around 8, it said, try to send that message during the working hours, because most of the people that you are sending are probably asleep or they won't check that message. So there is intelligence that is checking your patterns and all that. We can't talk much about social media because I think most of us, we are spending a big chunk of our time on social media. So basically what I'm saying is these technologies, they are transforming the way we interact, the way we work, and digitally transforming us as individuals as well as organizations. But the use of these digital technologies in a way provides increased risk because with these digital technologies, we have more devices and more connections between us and the networks, and that provides increased risk. But you know that as governments, we are adopting digital technologies because we want a better experience for our citizens or our clients. We have to be relevant in the sense that our citizens cannot be using digital technologies and we are not using them. We must drive down costs because you can see that the digital technologies are helping us to do things that would have ordinarily cost us a lot of money. And then issues of better engagement with our citizens. All these things, they, much as they are good, they increase the risk. I think Dr. Madyibi talked about the attack surface. Because of the increased engagement, the area of attacking is growing. In other words, the threat surface grows every day as you use new applications, as you install new apps, as you engage further with the digital devices. So with that in mind, that there is increased risk in our use of digital technologies, then it's important that we understand the issue of cybersecurity as one important thing. So as Dr. Madyibi said, the probability of exposure or loss from cybersecurity or data breach is very disruptive. He gave examples. I wouldn't want to repeat them. It's costly because to recover, you must pay money. Potential loss or harm. Actually, companies do close when they are attacked. They have a cyber attack. They cause great damage in terms of reputation and other things, degrading. Like if you're an owner of a company and that happens, it's quite degrading. there's an article that came from Cisco that tries to classify the kind of impact that cyber attacks or data breaches affect. So, for example, it says operations are, in most cases, affected by a minimum of 36%. And if it's an organization that is more dependent on digital technologies, that would rise to 100%. Finances would be affected by at least 30%. Brand reputation as an organization, your reputation goes awry because of cyber risk or cyber attacks. Customer retention, as government citizens, our clients, although they don't have choice to say they can leave our government and go to the other government, but it affects them because their trust of the government also dwindles. In terms of business partner relationships, supplier relationships, they can also be affected because they wonder whether we are really the right people to do trade with. Legal engagements, you know about the issues of Department of Justice and how they had to pay money to for their popular issues. Regulatory scrutiny, you know, as a department, if there is such a thing, how you must answer to the Auditor General, how you must respond to the legislature, your life will really be very, very bad. And then it says in their survey, the organizations that have not had any security breaches in the past year were about only 10%, which means 90% had an incidence of cyber breach or cyber attack. It tells you that the issues of cyber attacks are really rampant, and we cannot just sit and do nothing. We must really work hard and ensure that we are addressing these cyber issues because of the difficulties in which we are. So basically, we are saying that the risk is high. We cannot just look at it as things. It must be something that we carefully plan and make sure that our houses are in order to counter such risks in our organizations. Otherwise, as a government, we run the risk of service disruption to our citizens. Now, as a province, we have this initiative where we have developed the cybersecurity policy framework aligned to our digital transformation strategy. ECSECC has assisted us in the development of that cybersecurity policy framework. It's now being reviewed by Nelson Mandela University and Rhodes University. And then once the review is done, then it must go through the governance channels of government to approve the framework, to allow departments to implement their policies and procedures in order to be risk averse in terms of cybersecurity. So, colleagues, the Cybersecurity Month of October, the awareness is really in keeping with our times, that we must not forget about the risks that we have, and that we must have concrete plans in addressing cybersecurity. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you very much, Mr. Madikiza, for your presentation. I'm sure participants are taking notes. They will raise issues in the chat box and also at the end of the presentations. At this point, I would like to invite Mr. Ayanda Dlomo to please
Hello.
share his presentation and deliver. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry, I was just finishing presenting on this cybersecurity.
Mr. Dlomo, please take the floor. Mr. Madikiza, please mute yourself. Over to you, Mr. Dlomo.
Thank you, Chairperson. Am I audible?
You are audible, and we can see something written: increased risk.
Can you see my screen?
Thank you. Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you very much, Chairperson. Good morning to colleagues all over the country, those who are listening from within the province, and also those who are listening outside of the province. Welcome to everyone. I am Ayanda Dlomo. I will be taking you through the cybersecurity from the perspective of the National Cybersecurity Forum. Basically, this is the table of context that we'll be looking at in terms of South Africa's role and responsibility at a global level, South Africa's role at the national level in terms of data protection and compliance, a national cybersecurity policy framework that is a holistic approach, provinces and municipalities a collaborative guide in terms of what they need to do, as well as a cybersecurity hub that is protecting South Africans' digital landscape. There are also notable achievements which I will touch on, and South Africa's engagement in the African cybersecurity space, as well as understanding the Cyber Crimes Act, that is the offenses as well as the penalties. Well, South Africa has a responsibility of safeguarding digital frontier and also to participate at a global level. As we all know that cybersecurity is a global challenge and it requires collaboration between countries, and South Africa is part of those countries. There are various international bodies that require South Africa to play a role in the cybersecurity, which is Interpol, African Union, Afripol, the United Nations, and the various organizations under the United Nations, such as the International Telecommunications Union and the UNODC and others. Now, based on these organizations, South Africa, because South Africa is also part of that global community, there are treaties that are signed which require South Africa to enact certain laws to make sure that South Africa safeguards the digital frontier. The role in terms of the cybersecurity space within the country, South Africa, the South African government has a role in the cybersecurity that involve creating a legal framework and agencies to protect data. We'll talk here about the various acts that have been created, and as well as the agencies such as the information regulator and others that have been also created to enforce certain acts. To offer advice to business and citizens, ensuring sufficient supply of skilled technicians and engineers, to coordinate cybersecurity activities and data protection within the country. Now, the government has got a mandate to perform these roles from the National Cybersecurity Policy Framework, which was passed by the Cabinet in March 2012. This National Cybersecurity Policy Framework set out measures and standards for addressing a wide range of threats, such as foreign governments, terrorists, criminals, and hack activists. The framework also establishes a cybersecurity hub, which is a public-private partnership that aims to raise awareness and share best practices on cybersecurity. We also talk about the fact that there is the Protection of Personal Information Act of 2013, which is another legal instrument that mandates the government to ensure that data privacy and security. Now, the POPI Act created the Information Regulator, which is an independent body that oversees compliance with the Act. In terms of the cybersecurity policy framework, this framework is a broad policy guideline, which was adopted in 2012 and published in the Government Gazette in 2015, which seeks to promote cybersecurity measures by all role players, such as government, private sector, civil society, and individuals. There is an implementation plan that also has been developed based on the National Cybersecurity Policy Framework. And there are various aspects of cybersecurity, such as cybercrime, cyber defense, critical information, infrastructure protection, cyber awareness, education, cyber research and development, and international cooperations, which are covered by the National Cybersecurity Policy Framework. Its intention is to ensure that there is security in terms of the cyberspace within South Africa and protects the national interest, the economy, as well the well-being of cyber, and ensure that the cyber threats are also taken care of. Countermeasures for cyber threats are also implemented. There are guidelines in terms of what this cybersecurity policy framework has to be followed when it is implemented. The aim of the framework is to centralize the coordination of cybersecurity, to review existing laws and regulations, to support cybersecurity and align them with international best practices, to identify and protect national critical information infrastructure, to promote the culture of cybersecurity awareness and education, to enhance the prevention, detection, response, and prosecution of cybercrime. I think it is still a challenge in terms of prosecution of cybercrime, because cyber criminals, they are everywhere. They could be sitting in Russia, connecting to South Africa and committing a crime. It's difficult to get that criminal from that country to come and be prosecuted here in South Africa. But with the cooperation with the Interpol, strides are being made to make sure that successful prosecution actually takes place. It also seeks to foster international cooperation and collaboration on cyber security matters with relevant regional and global partners. It also stimulates research and development on cybersecurity issues to promote innovation. Now, collaboration and implementation of these guidelines for provinces and municipalities in cybersecurity. We have to ensure that the provinces and the municipalities, they should play an active collaborative role in the implementation of the National Cybersecurity Framework, because we have to cascade it down to say the national government has a role of creating these policies, the acts, and interacting with the international bodies. Now, if you go down to the municipalities, to the provinces, what is our role? We have to define our role to make sure that the municipalities and the provinces, they are also aligned to what is happening at a national level. Therefore, the provinces and municipalities should develop a tailored cybersecurity strategies and plans, as the CIO has indicated that the province is actually working on the provincial framework. This framework should also encompass the municipalities within the province to ensure that they also participate because they are part of the province. There is no province without the district. There is no district without the municipalities. Therefore, whatever that is being created at a provincial level should then cascade down to ensure that a robust security governance structures, such as committees and units or departments, are established to oversee and coordinate cybersecurity activities and initiatives at a provincial and at a municipal level, even at a departmental level, to coordinate even this Cybersecurity Month. This should not only be something that is done within the borders of the organization, because even the communities out there, as the province is implementing the broadband connectivity, connecting the schools, connecting communities, it is still a responsibility of the province as well as the municipalities to reach out to those communities that are being provided by these fast-speed internet access, so that they can be taught, they can be made aware, they can be sensitized about the dangers of cybersecurity, so that they can also practice safe surfing when they are using the gadget in those municipalities. As we know that the province is implementing these broadband, there are Wi-Fi hotspots that are created, some of them in deep rural areas. So those deep rural areas need to be equipped with this information and knowledge so that they do not become a prey of these international criminals as well as maybe local criminals. Therefore, that awareness and education has to cut across inside and outside to reach every citizen, the men in the street, particularly the schools, and as well as the deep rural areas. Ensuring also that the security and resilience of information systems and networks in the provinces and municipalities adopt certain standards such as the ISO 27001 or the NIST cybersecurity framework. So as these frameworks are adopted in the government departments, in the municipalities, it then creates a secure environment and a community for everyone to be safe. The development of the skills is critical, and also in retaining cybersecurity skills. Cybersecurity skills is a very rare skill, and it is very expensive to develop. And you will discover that in provinces like ours, these skills, they are very hard to find because they are expensive and you will have to pay a lot of money, which therefore means there is a need to develop these skills at a local level so that they can be able to provide the necessary support. Therefore, the training and mentoring, career development, and incentives to staff is very, very critical at this stage to ensure that we defeat this issue of cybersecurity. Now, let me talk about the Cybersecurity Hub. As I indicated, that it was an initiative that emanated from the national framework. The hub is a computer security incident response team set. Is a set in terms of South Africa, where it was established by Department of Communication and Digital Technologies in 2015. It serves as a central point of contact for cybersecurity incidents, information awareness, collaboration, and standard. It aims to make cybersecurity a safe and secure environment for all residents of South Africa. There is a website where you can easily access the Cybersecurity Hub. The role of the Cybersecurity Hub is to ensure that it serves as a central point of contact for all cybersecurity incidents in the country, create information awareness, collaboration, and standards, and it aims to make a safe cyberspace. To report an incident, is very critical that you email the email, which is CSIRT@cybersecurityhub.gov.za, or you can also use an online form to report at cybercrime.org.za. There's a website there where you can report a cyber crime or a cyber incident. Or you can go to the nearest police station and file a report with an affidavit. It's very important to ensure that these procedures are followed when reporting cybersecurity related incidents. Now, these are some of the milestones that South Africa has actually achieved. The establishment of a cybersecurity hub as the central point, the development of a national cybersecurity plan, which outlines the specific actions, timeframes, and responsibilities for executing the national cybersecurity policy framework, the enactment of a Cybercrimes Act to criminalize various forms of cybercrime and provide for investigation, prosecution, and prevention of such offenses. The enaction of the POPIA Act as a domestic law on data protection, which is in line with the convention standards, and as well as the participation of South Africa in the ECSECC security strategy, the global forums on cyber expertise, and as well as the various conventions internationally. So these are some of the achievements that the country has achieved. Now, let me now talk about the Cybercrimes Act. Now, the Cybercrimes Act is a law, preferably I would say still a new law, even though it was signed in 2020 to combat and prosecute cybercrime. It creates various offenses related to cybercrime, such as unlawful access, interception or interference with data, computer programs, computer systems and networks, cyber fraud, cyber forgery, and cyber uttering and cyber extortion. It imposes obligations on electronic communication service providers and financial institutions to report cybercrime and preserve evidence. Say, for instance, the telco can report you that you are committing cybercrime with the device that you are actually has been assigned to you. So that obligation is now been put to the telcos, the likes of MTN, Vodacom, and Cell C, and others. So it's very critical that you observe what you do with the gadget. You do not bother into being one of those who will be classified as a cyber criminal. It's also important to ensure that you are aware of the penalties for the cyber crimes, which can range from a fine or imprisonment for a period not exceeding 3 years to a fine ranging from 5 million to 10 million, and or imprisonment ranging from 15 to 25 years, depending on the type of and severity of the offense. That is very critical also to teach the young kids, the upcoming generation, because they are also very active, particularly on social media, with regards to these penalties. As it might happen that in your house, you are harboring a criminal because you might have not shared this information to one of your own. It criminalizes the sharing of harmful messages that incite violence, unlawfully contained intimate images. We heard Dr. Madyibi talking about that issue, or to disclose confidential information via social media. Offenders may face fines, as I indicated, up to 3 years. And beyond these provisions, the Act outlines guidelines for reporting and investigating cyber criminals. As I also indicated that the telcos have got a responsibility to report crimes as it is being committed, because their network is actually being utilized to commit these crimes. It has got a 24/7 cyber response center to assist victims and coordinate response to cyber incidents. Now, as you know, the Act is going to be implemented. There is a process of implementation. It takes some time, but it is expected that it will enhance online security and act as a deterrent to cyber criminals, safeguarding South Africa's digital landscape. In detail, you will notice that the offenses under the Act, they have been divided into two parts. There is part 1 and there is part 2. And also each part deals with the seriousness of the crime that is committed, such as unlawful access, unlawful interception, unlawful interference, unlawful acts in respect to software and hardware, which is part 1. Then part 2 deals with cyber fraud, that is deceiving someone online to obtain money, property, and so forth, and data. Cyber forgery and uttering, and such as creating or using fake electronic documents or signatures. Cyber extortion, theft of property, stealing data or intellectual property online, malicious communications, e.g. sending messages that are intimate, harmful, incite violence or damage property. Those are classified under the part 2 in terms of the offenses, as well as these are some of the punishment, as I indicated, which relate to these crimes that are being committed through the Cyber Act. Now, in terms of strengthening cybersecurity awareness and implementation in the Eastern Cape through collaborative ICT initiative, what we have been up to is that the Eastern Cape provincial government established an ICT forum with a dedicated subcommittee focusing on cybersecurity. Now, this ICT forum is coordinated at ECSECC. ECSECC is the secretariat. The cybersecurity subcommittee actively collaborate at both national, provincial level, and as well as regional and district level, where we want to ensure that we align the standards in terms of the implementation. Whatever that national is doing, we do not want to be left behind at the provincial and as well as the district and local level. Now, the goal is to collaborate to effectively implement cybersecurity plans across regions, even departments and municipalities. Awareness is crucial. It is a component that we want to make sure that plans are conducted to make sure at least on a quarterly basis, every organization conducts cybersecurity awareness to their users so that the gospel of being cyber aware is taught, because it is very critical with the high level of penetration of broadband to the province. Cybersecurity awareness is of high importance. Then there are effective collaboration through the forum to ensure organizations and committees are active and participate in these cybersecurity initiatives. I do understand that we had a sort of like a lull during the COVID era, but the forum is going to soon pick up again. As you have seen now, we are now conducting these cybersecurity awarenesses, but there are also other activities that the forum, ICT forum, is also involved in. These are some of the cybersecurity news from the Cybersecurity Hub. You will see there that the latest news is talking about the Justice Department. They want to fight the 5 million fine over ransomware attack in court. Basically here, the Justice Department, they were fined 5 million by the regulator. You can see now that the POPI Act is actually in operation. They were fined because they were warned at first that they have to update their antivirus system so that to prevent the ransom attack, but they ignored the warning that was sent to them, and then they were attacked, and then now they are being fined. But now they are trying to fight the fine. We don't know. We will see as time goes by as to whether they will win the court case or not. This is just an example. This is now today's Justice Department. Tomorrow, it could be your organization that is facing the same predicament as Justice Department. Therefore, this should be sending a very strong message to say the POPI Act is here and it has started to operate. It has started to work. Let's all of us make sure that we update our systems, just as Dr. Madyibi had said, to prevent the occurrence of these ransomwares and other attacks. That's all, Chairperson, from me. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Dlomo, for your presentation. I really want to once more thank the three presenters for the three informative presentations that aim to create awareness that is meant to defend us as individuals and defend our institutions and organizations from a cyber attack. At this point, I'd like to invite comments and questions, if there are any, to the presenters. Please indicate by raising your hand if you would like to engage on the presentations. Thank you very much. I see there are two participants who are indicating interest to participate. It's Hlumela and Nosisa. Apologies for calling you on the first names, but I would like to invite you to take the floor. First, Hlumela. Thank you.
Okay, no. Good morning, Chairperson. Thanks very much. You've called my first name correctly. My name is Hlomela Putini. I work at Eastern Cape Provincial Treasury. The first one, I think I shared a chart earlier on as you encouraged us to engage in the charts. But if these slides can be shared with us, thank you for that. And then I enjoyed the presentation of Mr. Dlomo because I like this broadband which is being deployed in our province. And I know at this stage we are trying as a province to reach out to connect schools and some other health facilities. But then my question is there a plan that we are having as a province to educate users of this at schools? And I also liked that he was even mentioning the issues of public Wi-Fi, where communities will sort of benefit from that. But currently, do we have a plan where we are educating our the users there through maybe OTP or something? Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Thank you, Mr. Putini, and then Ms. Perna.
Thank you, Chair. I actually prefer to be called by my first name, so you were spot on. I'm Nosisa. Thank you for that. Thank you for organizing the session. Thank you to the presenters for raising awareness on what I think is a downside, really, to digitization and digitalization that we all want to get to as a province. I think it's very important that we become aware of the threats we are exposed to as we work and access information online. It seems to me that, the more we become dependent on the internet, the higher the rate of cyber crimes, and these threats have a potential of ruining our security as a nation and as an economy. So I have one comment and I have a question here. Colleagues, we are at a time where gender equality and women empowerment are at a where industries are trying to change the narrative of ICT being a male-dominated industry, okay, into an inclusive and diverse industry. So with this said, I would like to voice out my disappointment at the lineup today that consists of only male. I'm wondering if there were any efforts at all that were made to source a female to be part of the agenda. Surely we have women in the province that are knowledgeable in this field, or would have been able to do some research, just like you have done, to join the presenters in this session and actually do an outstanding job at it as well. Okay, so I'd like to plead with you, colleagues, to make it a conscious decision to include women in your sessions moving forward. Okay, it would be nice to listen to unfamiliar voices for a change. So please, let's pay it forward. Okay, that's just my comment there. And then my question is that in the presentations, there is a lot of mention of things that we should do to prevent, to mitigate the risks of cyber threats or attacks, right? Like developing plans and forming cybersecurity committees, etc. So Mr. Dlomo brought it home. I enjoyed that. Mr. Dlomo brought it home and touched on the role of provincial departments and municipalities, okay, and also maybe coordinating cybersecurity committees and so on. He also pointed out that this cybersecurity is a scarce skill, and perhaps as a province we need to put our efforts in upskilling our ICT officials in this. Okay, the question here is, well, to all the presenters today, do we have adequate capacity as a provincial government to monitor these threats or cyber attacks in terms of skills, for example? Currently, do we rely on service providers to do this? Or what do provincial departments do to mitigate cyber risks currently? Okay, are we adequately resourced in terms of our organograms as departments to make sure that we are proactive when there are attempts of hacks on our networks? Okay, are we adequately resourced at all? How do we need to resource ourselves? Okay, ideally, there should be a security cluster, maybe, within each department or provincially to make sure that we are ready to fight cyber crimes. Does it exist? What do we do now? okay? Because we're not immune to cyber attacks currently as we are busy making plans. How do we make sure that these awareness cyber security sessions are not just talk shop, but they translate into actionable items that are monitored, that are measured, and that are reported, okay? And then lastly, there were talks of cybersecurity plans and policies that need to be developed. What are the timeframes? I think I missed the part about timeframes. When do we plan to have been finished with this work of developing plans and policies? Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Ms. Nosisa, for your presentation, for your engagement, questions, and also the earlier input and comment that you made. I'd like to invite the colleagues to engage with the issues that have been raised by the two participants, and also issues raised in the chat box. Maybe we'll start with Mr. Dlomo, followed by Mr. Madikiza, and then lastly, Dr. Madyibi. Thank you.
Good. Thank you, Chairperson. Can you hear me?
Yes, you're loud and clear.
Okay, thank you very much, Chairperson. I will try to respond to the first question regarding the question that was raised by a colleague from Treasury as to what are the plans to educate. Particularly, we spoke about the broadband. The aim of the Cybersecurity Month is to create awareness across the province. Therefore, it is still the responsibility of the particular organizations to take decisive steps to implement the cybersecurity plans or to create the cybersecurity plans. For example, the Department of Education, they are solely responsible to ensure that awareness plans are actually taking place in the schools. On a quarterly basis, it is a recommendation to conduct these awarenesses on a quarterly basis because we cannot rely on a cybersecurity awareness month that only happens once a year. We have to ensure that we create a culture within our organization. For example, in my department, our regional network controllers in all the regions, they have got a responsibility of conducting cybersecurity awarenesses in their respective regions, not even in head office, even in Amatole, Krisani, Owatambo, Jogabi. They have got standing dates at least once per quarter. They conduct these cybersecurity awareness because we want to make sure that the information reaches to where it is actually needed. Therefore, as an ICT forum, what we do, we coordinate these activities to say on a quarterly basis, each department should present to us as to what are they doing in terms of the cybersecurity, because we do make recommendations and we then say, okay, this is what National is saying in terms of the cybersecurity issues. Therefore, take these steps and go and implement. We then sit again in the following quarter to find out what are the plans, what are the issues, how far have you gone, what are the challenges as we tackle this. We don't only focus only on the government departments because the ICT Forum, it cuts across the organizations within the Eastern Cape, not only the government departments, it also focuses on the municipalities and other organizations like the public entities. They are also welcome to be part of the ICT Forum. It does not only look into cybersecurity, but cybersecurity is also one of the issues. as well as the skills training. The skills training is conducted by NEMISA. Now, NEMISA has also a cybersecurity training that they also conduct when they go out to communities. Normally, NEMISA, I think they are the ones who actually interact the most with the communities, because they would make arrangement with a councillor at a certain ward. The councillor will then bring in the community. Then they will then go there to conduct the digital skills, which incorporate the cybersecurity as part of the training. With regards to the second speaker, she talked about gender equality. Yes, in the cybersecurity forum, we have got all the genders, but I am not going to answer per se on today's arrangement, because we do have probably the organizers, they probably will be able to respond there on that one. I think I did touch on the plans and the approach, because she also raised similar issues. And also she raised the issue of the scale. Do we have capacity? I wouldn't say we have got enough capacity, because I did mention in the scale that in the presentation that capacity in terms of the cybersecurity is still lacking, and there should be efforts to ensure that we attract the best skill in with regards to that. But now this should be an effort which focuses on that, particularly within government. There are certain arrangements that are made, like making a post to be an OSD post, to address the fact that this is a rare skill which is needed, which we don't have. But those are some of the strides. I think maybe the office of the Premier through the CIO should assist us in terms of identifying this as a rare skill, so that strides can be made at a central level with regards to addressing the skills issue. In our department, we did train people, but they were picked up by companies in Joburg, so they left the province. So that is also one side in terms of trying to address the skill issue. Now, the time frames, my recommendation is that at least on a quarterly basis, the awareness should take place in those particular organizations. But with regards to other timeframes, they relate to activities that are done at a national level. For instance, the implementation of some of the policy frameworks, they are a work in progress, but they are not within our control, because they are done by the national department, that is the Department of Communication and Digital Communication Technologies. Sorry. I will then give to the other speakers maybe to also touch base on other points that I might have missed. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Thank you.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, colleagues. I think Mr. Dlomo has touched on the issue of educating users in schools, that departments are really supposed to be ensuring that their users are made aware of cybersecurity issues. Much as Office of the Premier coordinates in terms of the forum, but there is no central place in the Office of the Premier where people go around the province doing the awareness. So we seek the assistance of departments to do that. In terms of the issues of capacity, which Nosisa was asking, I think we all know that in terms of ICT, most departments are really struggling in terms of capacity. but it's worse with the cybersecurity issue because it's a specialized field. But the Department of Public Service and Administration issued a circular last year requesting that all departments must appoint departmental information security officers. By that time, I think there were only a few who had, but we have monitored and enforced that, such that by now all departments have appointed their departmental information security officers. Some have had to outsource because there is no existing personnel in the department. But I think the important thing is that there exists a departmental information security officer in the department, which looks at all security issues, including the cybersecurity. They might not have the specialized skills in cybersecurity, but the general issues like awareness issues can be driven from that point. As I said, it's a specialized skill. I know that Department of Health has appointed somebody who is a specialized cybersecurity personnel. As Office of the Premier also just advertised an appointment of a deputy director with such specialized skills in cybersecurity. We are still in the process of filling that post. We think that once we get one or two people specialized in that area, we can use them to conduct training and reach out to other departments so that the level of understanding can be increased and we can all benefit from those rare skills. That's the situation at the moment. I think the point of gender equality is noted. I think we did not have formal awareness sessions like this one. This is like the beginning. So surely there is a role that females in the area will play going forward. I think I can stop there and perhaps Dr. Madyibi can come in. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nation, and thank you, Ayanda, and thank you, Chair. And again, colleagues, it's afternoon now, 1 minute past 12. Afternoon. I think my two colleagues have covered almost everything, except that I want to add on that issue of the departments having their own awareness issues around cybersecurity. Because the directive that came from DPSA clearly showed what must be done by each department. There must be a DSO, which is delegated, not appointed, delegated by the HOD, where it's going to play the role of a DSO. From that, the steering committee, IT steering committee, will play a role of an IT security steering committee. So that was a directive that came from DPSA, which all departments supposed to adhere to, and we're supposed to do awareness on a quarterly basis. And then once a year we've got this collective one, which is what we're doing now. I just want to add on that. And then secondly, on the panel, your comment, Nosisa, is noted, but just to add on why we selected the two, because initially, when I was working internal within ECSECC, my subordinate here is also an ICT security guru, doing her master's in ICT, actually completing her master's, just a research. So we're preparing this together internally. And then the selection of the CIO, that is Mr. Nation Madikiza, was based on the initiatives that are being done in the province. As the CIO of the province, what is being done on behalf of the province around cybersecurity. And as a CIO, he will be able to understand that and know that. And thirdly, Mr. Dlomo is selected on behalf of the National Cybersecurity Work Group, which he does represent the province in that work group at a national level. Hence, there was a selection of those two. But the planning phase and all the creation of slides and everything was involving me and my colleague, Ms. Sine Mkai from ECSECC. But your point has been noted because there are women within the province who are also capable of giving presentations around this issue. I think in our next October month, definitely we'll take into consideration that area. It's noted. On the timeframes of policies, actually the cybersecurity policy, the NMU has responded with the review of our policy with further inputs, and then now we're still waiting from Rhodes University. Once those two are done, we're going to collate everything and consolidate and present it to the Digital Council as a group. Once the Digital Council endorsed it, then it will take the route of government structures, where your GNA cluster, your cabinet committees, and other various stuff, so that it can be approved formally by the office of the Premier, including areas of awareness of the policy to be taken into through the cabinet. I'm not sure whether I've left something. Yeah, I think I've covered almost, and my colleagues covered almost everything from the other side. On the training plan, we are also utilizing NEMISA as a government entity to do the training for our technicians and people looking for skills in cybersecurity. So the bigger picture when it comes to broadband, I think it will need the collective of broadband implementers and ICT working group on what approach to take when we do the training around the communities utilizing the new broadband, the new installed broadband. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Dr. Madyibi, and to Mr. Madikiza and Mr. Dlomo for your comments and responses. I also want to take this opportunity to thank everyone for having joined and participated in this Provincial Cybersecurity Awareness webinar. I think that I'd like to request that the presentations be shared and be placed on the chat box so that colleagues can access them with immediate effect, and also encourage that we continue with creating awareness in our institutions and also to other individuals that are in our immediate environments, so that the campaign for the awareness in October does reach far and wide. I think on behalf of the organizers of the webinar and ECSECC in particular, I'd like to say thank you very much for your participation. And this brings the webinar to the end. Thank you very much. We are adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, colleagues.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you.
Goodbye.